And this is Ken Kreitzer having a chance to visit an Avaya executive briefing. I have a chance to chat with Alan Hase, who is the Vice President of Avaya for research and product development. And Alan, a great presentation today, learning more about the capabilities of Avaya. You're doing a lot in some of the industries we work with at CBSI, with the airlines, hotels, and certainly banks and financial services. Maybe just tell us a little bit about some of the solutions you're bringing to your clients now.
Great, Ken. Yes, it was nice to meet with you. So we're at Avaya are doing a lot of innovation and bringing a lot of capabilities to market around networking technology. And what's really interesting about Avaya's networking technology is what we've done with fabrics and how we've leveraged fabric technology to enable networks to be easier to deploy, much more flexible, and fundamentally more secure than a traditional network. And we've done that by implementing a series of capabilities that dramatically change how networks are deployed and managed. As opposed to managing many protocols across an entire network, we're able to deliver a fabric technology that allows you to deploy a single protocol and get all of the benefits of fabric technology, not just in the data center, but across the entire network, from the data center all the way to the user edge.
And one of the things you mentioned in your presentation was trying to help your clients bridge the agility gap, trying to help them bring their capabilities up to the speed of businesses and the businesses that they're trying to serve. Tell us a little bit about the importance of bridging that agility gap.
Excellent. So what we've found is that in talking to many customers is that the speed that they want to run their business, the speed at which they want to roll out new applications to enable or accelerate the growth in their business is largely constrained by the speed at which they can actually make the network adapt to those new applications, whether it's mobile applications or just other services that they want to deploy. And what we found is that it's taking a typical enterprise at least a month on average to roll out a new application, and a large portion of that is because of the constraints of the network. And so the network is turning into the bottleneck. So 3 or 4 years ago, we started working on our fabric technology to really try and bridge that gap to make it such that the network is flexible enough and agile enough that allows them to roll out new applications at the speed that their business needs.
And just the whole idea you were talking about today of helping companies and organizations, when their staff and employees bring their own devices into the organization, into their networks, and what that means in terms of all the applications they may want to run, some of which apparently with video take up a lot of capacity.
Right.
What are some of the solutions you're bringing to help organizations deal with a variety of devices that their staffs are wanting to use?
Right, so what we've seen is that over the last several years, bring your own device has come from enterprises resisting it to enterprises being forced to embrace it and at least manage it and control it in some ways. Now, in addition to people bringing their own devices, what's happening now is people are bringing their own applications. And that creates another dynamic, because in some cases, the application, as an example like Facebook, may be very viable and valuable for someone, say, in marketing or in customer care, where customers are interacting with your company through Facebook. But for other people in the organization, maybe Facebook is not a good thing to be doing during work. Maybe it's a security thing, or maybe it's just consuming bandwidth. So what we've done is enabled a technology, or built a technology into all of our access points that give you complete visibility into all the applications that your employees are using on your network, how much bandwidth they're consuming, who's using what application, and then we give you the tools to be able to control that, whether it's prioritizing, say, video collaboration like Scopia, or using Microsoft Lync or other technologies that are mission critical, and allowing casual use of things like Facebook or Instagram or other things that people may be doing, or even personal email, at work, which is fine to do as long as it doesn't interfere with other people trying to get mission critical things done.
And one of the things you mentioned, which I hadn't even thought about, was that smartphones are almost always working and are sometimes
Right.
uploading or downloading when the user may not even realize it, like with uploading to Dropbox. Tell us a little bit about what's involved with that and some of the concerns an organization may want to look at.
Right, so what we see is that our smartphones truly are smart, and they do many things on our behalf without us ever really thinking about them doing it. So for example, we could all be sitting in a meeting, but our phones, even if we're not using them, may be downloading email, they may be updating Facebook, and all sorts of other things that are going on in the background. Now, all of that in aggregate starts to consume more and more precious bandwidth, in particular precious wireless bandwidth. And if you're trying to be in a meeting and people are using video conferencing over wireless or sharing other things over wireless, these two things start to conflict with each other. And so even though you may say, well, I don't worry about that happening with my user base, the reality is that our devices are doing many things on our behalf. So as an example that you gave, which I spoke about in the presentation, was when you take a picture on your phone, and if your phone's connected to wireless, that picture will automatically be uploaded to Dropbox if it's an Android device, or iCloud if it's an iPhone. And that consumes bandwidth. We aren't really thinking about that when we take a picture, but the reality is it's using bandwidth. And so again, our technology that we're building into our access points allows you to, one, be aware that this is happening and start to prioritize it for mission critical applications.
And we're starting to approach Labor Day and busy fall season, many conferences coming up and meetings with clients to try to help them find new solutions and communications. Any key recommendations you're going to be going out to your client base with this fall?
Absolutely. So there's a couple of really interesting things that we're doing this fall. One is we're doing a major push with software-defined networks. There's a lot of innovation that we're building on top of our fabric technology for software-defined networks. We have a whole new series of technology on the wired and wireless side and new fabric capabilities that we'll be bringing to market that we'll be sharing with our customers as we go forward.
Alan Hase, the Vice President, Research Product Development for Avaya. Great to attend your executive briefing today here in New York City.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. This is Ken Kreitzer for CBSI Services in New York City.